Show starts in 10 minutes.
What is it?
Say,
What is it?
hey, why it's Buttercup. Popcorn, add sweet cream butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious.
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
Crisp and crunchy.
you'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup, popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
Show starts in 9 minutes.
Here's a new taste treat. The corn dog. Plump, juicy wieners are dipped in a thick, golden Southern-style corn batter that seals in all their freshness and flavor. If you like hot dogs, you'll love corn dogs. Everybody does. Try a corn dog with your favorite beverage. At the refreshment corner now. Corn dogs.
Show starts in 8 minutes.
Today we're interviewing a stomach.
Hello there.
What is life like as a stomach?
Oh, boy, it was humdrum. I mean, until what's-his-name discovered Tony's Pizza.
Tony's Pizza.
Yeah, I was suffering from the pizza cravings until Tony's came along. Crispy crust and zesty sauces. Wow.
And so now... What's that?
Another pizza craving. Just thinking about Tony sets it off.
Oh, where are you going?
He's going to get a Tony's Pizza, and I follow him anywhere.
Does your stomach send you pizza craving signals? Oh, wow. Tony's, the Pizza Cravers Pizza. Available at the concession stand.
Show starts in 7 minutes.
It's refreshment time, folks.
Taste that beats the others cold. Pepsi pours it on. Taste that beats the others cold. Pepsi pours it on.
Yum, yum. It's a meal in itself. Our all-meat super dog. Enjoy one now.
Show starts in 6 minutes.
Men, there's a drive-in movie full of juicy people. Wow! It's a trap! Help! It's Pick! We've had it, men.
A pleasant aroma for you, but not for mosquitoes. Pick is easy to use. Light it and forget it. Pick's aroma keeps mosquitoes, gnats, and sandflies away. Pick is the best protection for barbecues, fishing and camping trips, or just relaxing in the yard.
So if you don't want our company ever anywhere, just light Pick and see what I mean? Bye!
Pick is on sale at the refreshment stand now. Show starts in 5 minutes.
A cup of whipped hot chocolate tastes great right now. Carnation's Cocoa Supreme, the delicious hot chocolate drink with the light, delicate flavor you like. Wouldn't a good hot cup taste good right now? Ask for a cup of whipped hot chocolate at our snack bar.
Show starts in 4 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. Show starts in 3 minutes.
Popcorn, candy, ooh, hot dog, popsicle. Oh boy, banana orange.
Show starts in 2 minutes.
Now listen. Now listen. Now listen.
I'm the Dairy Queen, won't you come with me along the milkshake way? I've got lots of good surprises, fresh and yummy for you every day. There are malts and shakes and sundaes too, whenever you stop. And of course your very, very favorite, the cone with the curl on top.
You don't have to just dream about Dairy Queen. Your favorite Dairy Queen treat is a refreshing reality at your nearest Dairy Queen store.
And now, on with the show.
Sorry to interrupt your work, but you're making a serious mistake. Huh? With reindeer, I mean. You're putting Prancer where Dasher should be. And Blitzen should always be on my right-hand side.
He should, huh?
Yes, and another thing. Donna's antlers have 4 points instead of 3. But I don't suppose anyone would notice that except me.
No, I don't suppose so. Say, who are you?
My name is Kringle. Kris Kringle. Well, glad I could be of help. Goodbye. See, it's all in your wrists, like throwing a ball. Now watch. See?
Mrs. Walker, that new Santa Claus you hired is wonderful. Where'd you find him?
We answered the ad along with 100 others. He is good, isn't he?
Well, the parade's ready to start. You coming?
I'm going home and getting a hot tub. I may just stay there until next Thanksgiving.
But you've worked so hard on the parade.
If I want to, I can see it from the roof of my apartment. Bye.
player?
He was a clown last year. They just painted him different. My mother told me. She manages the parade.
Wow, he's really a giant, isn't he?
Really, Mr. Gailey. And you a lawyer. There are no such things as giants.
Well, maybe not now, Susan, but in olden times, like the giant Jack killed in the fairy tale.
Oh, one of those. I don't know any fairy tales.
You mean your mother or father never read you any?
My mother thinks they're silly, and I never met my father. You see, my mother and father were divorced when I was a baby.
Well, that baseball player sure looks like a giant to me. Come in.
Hello. My housekeeper told me Susan was here. I'm her mother.
Yes, Susie's told me quite a bit about you.
Uh-huh. She's told me quite a bit about you, too. The man in the front apartment. Hi, dear.
Parade's much better than last year.
Good. Hope Mr. Macy agrees with you.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Oh, don't bother.
No bother. It's ready.
I want to thank you for being so kind to Susan.
All part of the plot. Surest way to meet the mother is to be nice to the child.
What a horrible trick.
Susan tells me you don't approve of fairy tales.
I don't. I think we should be realistic and completely truthful with our children. Not let them grow up believing in a lot of myths and legends. Like Santa Claus, for example.
I see.
The parade's over, Mother. The acrobats were good.
Those prices, they should be.
Mother, I was thinking, we've got such a big turkey for dinner, and there are only 2 of us. Couldn't we invite Mr. Gailey? Couldn't we?
Oh, dear.
Oh, please don't bother. I'll just get a sandwich or something.
It's an awful big turkey.
Oh, it's not that, dear, but I'm sure Mr. Gailey has other plans.
No, he hasn't. Have you?
Well, as a matter of fact, to be truthful and completely realistic with the child, I must say I haven't.
Please, Mother, please. Didn't I ask her all right, Mr. Gailey?
Well, that all depends.
Dinner's at 3 o'clock.
Susan, you asked just right.
Before those screaming brats arrive, I want to give you a few pointers on how to be a good Santa Claus.
Go ahead.
Now, here's a list of toys we have to push. You know, things we've overstocked. You'll find that a great many children are undecided as to what they want for Christmas. When this occurs, you immediately suggest one of these items. You understand?
I certainly do.
All right, here they come. You get up there and go to work and memorize that list. And remember, be jolly. You're working for Macy's.
Imagine that. Making a child take something he doesn't want just because he bought too many of the wrong toys. That's what I've been fighting against for years.
And what's that, Pop?
Trying to commercialize Christmas. And a Merry Christmas to you. Now then, what's your name, little boy?
Peter.
And what do you want for Christmas, Peter?
I want a fire engine just like the big ones, only smaller. It's got real hoses and squirts real water. I don't want to do it in the house, only in the backyard, I promise.
Now, Peter, I see you're a very good boy, so you'll get your fire engine.
You see, I told you to get me one.
Yes, dear. Well, look, you wait right over there. Mommy wants to thank Santa, too. What do you mean by saying a thing like that? I've been all over town trying to find that kind of a fire engine. Macy doesn't have one. Nobody's got one.
But you can get those fire engines at the Acme Toy Company on West 46th Street. Only $4.50. Wonderful bargain. Oh, I follow the toy market pretty closely.
Macy's sending other people to other stores?
Well, the important thing is to keep the children happy. Whether Macy's or somebody else sell the toy, that doesn't matter, does it? Don't you feel that way?
Me? Sure, but I didn't think Macy's did. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Oh, yes, we have skates. Nice, shiny skates, and they're very good indeed. But I don't think they're the kind of skates you want. Now, they have really wonderful skates at Gimbals. Gimbals?
The sales lady said I was to speak to you. You the head of the toy department.
Yes, madam, yes.
Well, look, I want to congratulate you on Macy's and this new stunt you're doing, sending people to other stores. To think that a big store like this puts the spirit of Christmas before the commercial. I haven't done much shopping here before, but from now on, I'm a regular Macy customer.
Gimbals. And when you come to see me at Macy's, I shall tell you all about the wonderful toys.
This seems awful silly, Mr. Gailey.
Well, maybe you'll feel differently after you've talked to Santa Claus.
Goodbye, and Merry Christmas. Now, there. What's your name, little girl?
Susan Walker, what's your name?
Mine, Kris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus. You don't believe that, do you?
You see, my mother is Mrs. Walker, the lady who hired you. But I must say, you're the best-looking one I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Your whiskers don't have those things that go over your ears.
That's because they're real, just like I'm really Santa Claus. Go on, pull them. Go on, go ahead, pull. That's it. And what do you want me to bring you for Christmas?
Nothing, thank you. Whatever I want, my mother will get me. Sensible and doesn't cost too much.
Susan, dear, I think you've taken up enough of this gentleman's time.
Your maid had to go home. Her mother sprained her ankle. She asked me to bring Susan down here for you.
Yes, she phoned.
I thought as long as we were here, we might as well talk to Santa Claus.
He's a nice old man, Mother. And his whiskers are real, too.
Yes, dear. A lot of old men have real whiskers like that. Susan, if you'd like to go over and look at the dolls, I'll be with you in just a minute. I want to talk to Mr. Gailey.
I didn't think there was any harm in saying hello to the old gent. I'm sorry.
I think there is harm. I tell her Santa Claus is a myth, and you bring her down here to meet a very convincing old gentleman with real whiskers.
What's wrong with that?
By filling her full of fairy tales, she'll grow up to believe life is a fantasy instead of a reality. She'll keep waiting for Prince Charming to come along, and when he does, he'll be a...
We were talking about Susie, not you.
Whether you agree with me or not, I'll have to ask you to respect my wishes.
You sent for me?
Yes, sit down, won't you?
This is a lovely little girl you have here.
Thank you. Susan's the reason I asked you to drop down. She's a little confused. Would you tell her that you're not really Santa Claus? That there's actually no such person?
I'm sorry to disagree with you, Mrs. Walker, but not only is there such a person, but here I am to prove it.
Oh, no, you don't understand. I want you to tell her the truth. What is your name?
Kris Kringle. I'll bet you're in the first grade.
Second.
No, I mean your real name.
It is my real name. Second grade. Good gracious.
It's a progressive school.
Oh, progressive school. Well, where did you get such a lovely outfit?
Macy's. We get 10% off.
Susan, would you go in and talk to Mrs. Adams for a minute?
All right.
Goodbye, young lady. Hope I see you again soon.
I hope so, too. Bye.
Kris Kringle. Address, Brooks Memorial Home for the Aged.
If you care to call them and ask for Dr. Pierce, he'll be happy to confirm it.
Age is old as my tongue and a little bit older than my teeth. Now, really?
Well, that's the truth.
Next of kin, Donna, Blitzen, Prancer.
And Dancer.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Kringle.
Yes, well, I'm afraid we're going to have to make a change. You see, the Santa Claus we had last year is back in town, and, well, I feel I owe it to him to,
Have I done something wrong?
No. Excuse me. Yes?
Mr. Macy wants to see you immediately, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, yes, right away. You'll have to excuse me. Miss Adams will give you your voucher on the way out, and you'll receive a full week's salary.
Now, about that new sales policy that you two seem to have initiated. It would have been better to clear it with the sales department first, don't you think?
Mr. Macy,
Macy's Santa Claus sending customers to Gimbel's. Preposterous.
What?
Yet, we cannot quarrel with success. Telephone calls, telegrams, over 500 parents expressing their undying gratitude to Macy's. So as a result, I've decided to make this the new sales policy for the entire store. If we haven't got what a customer wants, we'll send him where he can get it. This way, Macy's will be known as the store with a heart. The store that puts public service ahead of profits. And consequently, of course, we'll make more profits. Well, I just want to express our appreciation and to tell you that in your Christmas envelopes, there'll be a more practical expression of our gratitude.
Thank you, Mr. Macy.
That'll be all. Oh, and tell that wonderful Santa Claus of yours that I haven't forgotten him either. No, never mind. I'll tell him myself in the morning.
Imagine, a bonus.
I fired him.
Who?
Santa Claus?
No.
He's crazy. He thinks he is Santa Claus.
Well, I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. You better get him back.
Oh, it's too great a risk. He might have a fit or something. I tell you, the man's insane.
Maybe just a little bit insane. Mr. Sawyer.
What?
We'll get Sawyer to examine him. He's a psychologist. That's what he's being paid for, to examine the employees.
Can't get him back. He's already gone.
Well, then you better scoot after him and get him, because if you don't, we're going to have a very unmerry Christmas.
Oh, Mr. Kringle. I'm afraid I acted rather hastily and perhaps unfairly. This other Santa Claus, well, Mr. Macy has found something else for him to do, and, well, we want you to stay on.
Well, this is mighty good news. You see, Mrs. Walter, for 50 years or so, I've been more and more worried about Christmas. Christmas is not just a day, it's a frame of mind, and that's what they've been changing. Well, I'm glad you're taking me back. Maybe I can do something about it. And I'm glad I met you and your daughter. You're my test case.
We are?
Yes, in a way, you're the whole thing in miniature. And if I win you over, well, there's still hope. If not, I guess I'm through. But I'll try, and I'm warning you, I don't give up easily.
Oh, well, Mr. Kringle, first thing in the morning, could you report to Mr. Sawyer's office for a little examination?
Mental examination?
Well, partly, yes.
Oh, I don't mind. I've taken dozens. Haven't failed one yet. Yeah. How many days in the week? 7. How many things do you see? 4. Muscular coordination? Perfect. Who was vice president under James Monroe? Daniel D. Tompkins. I'll bet your Mr. Sawyer doesn't know that one.
How much is 3 times 5?
You asked me that before.
I'm conducting this examination. How much is 3 times 5?
Same as it was before. 15. You're rather nervous, aren't you, Mr. Sawyer? Do you get enough sleep?
My personal habits are of no concern to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that I hate to see anyone all tied up.
How many fingers do you see?
3. You bite your nails, too?
I want you to stand up straight with your arms extended.
Muscular coordination test. Surely I'll be glad to. You know, very often nervous habits like yours is caused by insecurity. Are you happy at home, Mr. Sawyer?
That will be all, Mr. Kringle. The examination's over. You may go. And it may interest you to know that I've been a happily married man for 26 years.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear it. Bye.
Your wife, Mr. Sawyer?
That's it. Agnes, how many times have I told you not to bother with the office? No, I give you a perfectly liberal allowance. If that fat, stupid brother of yours would get a job, you wouldn't have to be pestering me all the time. Not a penny.
How long have you known him, Dr. Pierce?
Well, he wandered into the home about 8 months ago. Looked the place over and said, well, it'll do. Just stayed on.
Has he ever told you his real name?
He said he was Chris Kringle. We never pressed him further.
Mrs. Walker, after giving that man a comprehensive examination, it's my considered opinion he should be dismissed immediately.
Dr. Pierce, Mr. Sawyer.
Excuse me, didn't Chris answer the questions correctly?
Well, yes, he did, but there was a complete lack of concentration. There's no doubt about it, he should be placed in a mental institution.
Wait a minute. People are institutionalized to prevent them from hurting themselves or other people. His is a delusion for good. He only wants to be friendly, helpful.
Mrs. Walker, naturally I cannot discharge this man. So when he begins to exhibit his latent maniacal tendencies, which I assure you he will, the responsibility will be entirely yours.
Oh, Dr. Pierce, if there's the slightest possibility of trouble,
Now, what trouble could Chris possibly get into?
No? Well, coming to work, for instance, a policeman might ask him his name. Now, you know that would get him into a fight.
Well, that could be avoided easily enough. Find someone here in the store to rent him a room. Then they could go to and from work together.
Oh, yes, that would solve everything. That's a wonderful idea.
Yes, isn't it? Your son's away at school. What about his room?
Well, I'll talk to Mrs. Shellhammer as soon as I get home. In the meantime, you take Chris home to dinner.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Oh, really, Mrs. Walker? If I can supply the room, the least you can do is furnish a free meal.
What sort of games do you play, Susan?
I don't play much with the children. They play silly games.
They do.
Like today, they were playing zoo, and all of the children were animals. Homer was supposed to be the zookeeper. He said, "What kind of an animal are you?" I said, "I'm not an animal. I'm a girl." He said, "Only animals allowed here. Bye."
Oh, that's too bad. Sounds like a wonderful game to me. Of course, to play it right, you've got to have imagination. Do you know what imagination is?
That's when you see something and it's really not there.
Well, yes. But I believe imagination is a place by itself. Yeah, you know, like, well, you know the British nation and the French nation. Well, this is imagination. Say, how would you like to make snowballs in the summertime? Or drive a bus down Fifth Avenue, Or be the Statue of Liberty in the morning, and in the afternoon, a flock of geese flying south? Well, the first place, you'd have to learn to pretend. That's imagination. Now, the next time they play zoo, you tell Homer you're a monkey.
But I don't know how to be a monkey.
I'll show you. And stand up. First, you bend way over. That's it. Keep your arms loose. Now, then you scratch.
On the contrary, the firm of Hazlitt, Sherman, and Hazlitt has been very good to me. But being an exceptional lawyer, I want to open my own office.
Naturally.
We're having our first lesson in pretending, and we're doing pretty well, too.
She'll be having nightmares for weeks.
But you'll be having a lot of fun in the daytime.
Hello? Oh, Mr. Shellhammer, that's fine. The Shellhammers have a room for you.
That's very kind of them, but I've accepted Mr. Gailey's offer to stay with him.
Mr. Gailey?
I'll get the meat.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Shellhammer, but it seems he's made other arrangements. Yes, well, goodbye.
Well, here we are.
Steak.
No, it's venison. A friend of mine at the office gave it to me.
What's venison?
Oh, deer meat. If you don't like it, I have eggs for you.
Could I have eggs, too? Venison, you know, I couldn't.
Oh, I forgot.
Well, there must be something you want for Christmas. Something that even your mother doesn't know about. Why don't you give me a chance?
All right.
Good.
That's what I want for Christmas.
A doll's house like this?
No, a real house.
A real house?
If you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me. And if you can't, just a nice man with a white beard like Mother says.
Well, just because every child doesn't get his wish, that doesn't mean there isn't a Santa Claus.
That's what I thought you'd say.
But what could you possibly want with a house like this?
Live in it with my mother.
You have this lovely apartment.
But I want a backyard and a swing and... She can't get it, huh?
I didn't say that. Well, that's a tall order, but I'll do the best I can. May I keep this?
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Susan.
Good night.
Do you like living in the city?
Oh, it's all right. I'd kind of like to get out in the country sometime, though. Not a big place, just one of those junior partner deals in Manhattan.
I know the kind you mean. One of those colonial houses.
Or Cape Cod.
I've been thinking about Mrs. Walker. You know, like a lot of divorced women, she's determined that no one will ever hurt her again. With a little more effort on your part, she might be made to crawl out of a shell. You know, those two are a couple of lost souls. It's up to us to help them. I'll take care of Susie if you'll take care of her mother.
It's a deal.
Good. You ready?
Oh, no, you don't. I'm not going to be cheated that way. All my life I've wondered, and now I'm going to find out. I'm going to learn the answer to the question that's troubled the world for centuries.
Does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers inside or out?
Always sleep with them out. Cold air makes them grow.
This is one event I never expected to see.
Two can play at this game, Mr. Macy. If Gimbals hadn't got what the customer wants, we'll send him over to Macy's.
It'll be a pleasure, Mr. Gimble.
There they sat, adult but children still, children at heart. It was summer, warm, glorious summer. The end. Did you like that story, Susan?
Mr. Kringle, do you think I'm going to get my house for Christmas?
Well, I can't promise, but we mustn't give up hope. Good night, Susan. Tomorrow evening, I'll read you another story.
I can't. I've got to go to school.
Isn't this vacation?
Yes, but this is what they call a required function.
Required function? The Fillmore Progressive School requests your presence at a special performance of a Christmas play to be given in the modern manner. What does that mean?
A Christmas play without Santa Claus.
Well, a Christmas play without a Santa Claus? The performance will be followed by a short address. Subject, exploding the myth of Santa Claus. The guest speaker will be Mr. Albert Sawyer.
I'm very happy you enjoyed our little play. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our old friend, Mr. Albert Sawyer.
Parents and young people, it's thrilling indeed to see so many happy, smiling faces. I know you're all looking forward to a joyous Christmas. But as those of you in this intelligent group know, this is going to be a Christmas without Santa Claus. Such a person as Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, or Kris Kringle does not exist. Never has existed and never will exist. This silly old man in his red suit represents the wishful dreaming of all people. He's the all-giver, the generous father. Mature adults who keep this myth alive are clinging to childish fantasies and show themselves afraid to face realities. People who play Santa have a strong feeling of guilt. I see nothing to laugh at. Far from being amusing, this myth... Far from being amusing... Far from being amusing, this myth is actually harmful. Only stupid old men prancing around in white whiskers keep this ridiculous myth alive.
Now he's gone too far.
He became violent because I attacked his delusions, and he'll do it again.
Well, if you ask me, I think we ought to get an outside psychiatrist to examine him.
Then you better do it right away before Mr. Macy hears about it.
Oh, that's right. You explain it to Mr. Kringle. After all, you're his friend.
Oh, no, I can't. Well, I've grown very fond of him, and this is going to hurt him deeply. I just can't.
All right, what can we do?
I think I have it. You tell Kringle Mrs. Walker wants him to leave at once in order to have some publicity pictures taken with the mayor. I'll have a car waiting outside, and once we get him in the car, we'll drive him straight off to Bellevue Hospital.
Yes, that'll do it. I'll ride up front with the driver.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Fred.
You flunked that psychiatrist examination deliberately, didn't you?
Why? I had great hopes, Fred.
I had a feeling that Mrs. Walker was beginning to believe in me. Now I know she was only humoring me all the time.
Mrs. Walker didn't know anything about taking pictures with the mayor. That was Mr. Sawyer's idea.
It isn't just Mrs. Walker. Take Sawyer. Contemptible, deceitful, dishonest. But he's out there, and I'm here. If that's normal, I don't want it.
But you can't just think of yourself. What happens to you matters to a lot of people. People like me who believe in you and what you stand for. People like, well, like Susie, who are just beginning to. Chris, you can't let them down.
You're right. Let's get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. You flunked that examination, but good.
Yes. I said our first president was Calvin Coolidge.
Oh, but you can fix that. You'll think of something.
Now, take it easy. A judge is going to be asked to sign papers committing you to a mental institution. The only chance would be to prove you legally sane at a public hearing.
Good. I can think of nothing better. Don't you see? That will settle the question once and for all.
You solemnly swear the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You may proceed, Mr. District Attorney.
My name's Thomas Mara. What's yours?
Chris Kringle.
Oh. Where do you live?
That's what this hearing will decide.
It's a very sound answer, Mr. Kringle.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tell me, do you really believe that you're Santa Claus?
Of course.
The state rests, Your Honor.
In view of this statement, do you still wish to put in a defense, young man?
I do, Your Honor. I'm fully aware of my client's opinions. In fact, that is the entire case against him. That Mr. Kringle is not sane because he believes himself to be Santa Claus.
An entirely logical assumption, I'm afraid.
Not necessarily, Your Honor. You believe yourself to be Judge Harper, yet no one questions your sanity because you are Judge Harper.
Mr. Kringle is the subject of this hearing, not me.
Exactly. So I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
What does Mr. Hayslip, Sherman, and Hayslip say about the trial?
That I was jeopardizing the dignity of the firm, that I either dropped the case or they dropped me. So, leaving me no choice, I quit.
Oh, Fred, you didn't.
Well, I can't let Chris down. He needs me, and all the rest of us need him.
Darling, he's a kind, wonderful old man, but... Well, you can't throw away your career because of sentiment.
I'm not throwing a career away. I'll get by. I'm a darn good lawyer. This doesn't shake your faith in me, does it?
This is a question of common sense, not faith.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. I wish you could let yourself believe in people like Chris, and in fun, and love, and joy, and all the other intangibles.
Can't pay the rent with intangibles.
And you can't live without them. Why don't you try a little blind faith, darling? String along with me. I think you've got a right to ask that.
I think I have the right to ask you to be a little bit more practical and realistic.
Yeah, I suppose you have. It's all cockeyed. Here we are, as close as two people can possibly be, and yet there's a loneliness about it.
I've tried my best.
I know you have, darling, and so have I. But we're going to need a lot more than each other's arms. And somehow I just don't think we've got it.
Funny. With all my common sense, I was just beginning to think this time it might work out.
So was I, but... Can I help you trim the tree?
Thanks, I can do it.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Your name, sir?
R.H. Macy.
Do you recognize this man?
Yes, he's an employee of mine, Kris Kringle.
Do you believe him to be of sound mind?
I certainly do.
Mr. Macy, you're under oath. Do you really believe that this man is Santa Claus?
Do you?
I do.
That is all.
You are fired.
Your Honor, there is no such person as Santa Claus, and everybody knows it. I ask that the court make an immediate ruling. Is there or is there not a Santa Claus?
This court will take a short recess to consider the matter.
I don't care about the law. I'm talking about politics. You go back in there and rule that there's no Santa Claus, we won't be even able to put you in the primaries.
Oh, Charlie. I'm a responsible judge. How can I seriously rule that there is a Santa Claus?
All right, go back in there and rule there isn't. The kids read about it, so they don't hang up their stockings. So what happens to all the toys that are supposed to be in them stockings? Nobody buys them. Oh, the toy manufacturers are gonna love that. What about the Christmas card makers, the candy companies? Oh, boy, are you gonna be a popular guy. And what about the Salvation Army? They got a Santa Claus on every corner. Henry, I'm telling you, if you go back in there and rule that there's no Santa Claus, you can count on getting just 2 votes. Your own and that district attorney's out there.
One. District Attorney's Republican.
The court will rise.
This court has just consulted the highest authority available. The traditions of American justice demand a broad and unprejudiced view of such a controversial matter. And therefore, this court is determined to keep an open mind and hear the evidence from either side.
But can my opponent produce any evidence in support of this contention?
Your Honor, I can. Will Thomas Mara take the stand?
Who, me?
Thomas Mara, Jr.
Thomas Mara.
Hi, Daddy.
Tommy, you know the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie, don't you?
Everybody knows you shouldn't tell a lie, especially in court.
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
Sure I do.
And what does he look like?
There he is, sitting over there.
I object, Your Honor.
Overruled. Tommy, why are you so sure there's a Santa Claus?
Because Daddy told me so. Didn't you, Daddy?
And you believe your daddy, don't you?
Sure I do. Daddy wouldn't tell me anything that wasn't so. Would you, Daddy?
Thank you, Tommy.
Bye, Daddy.
The state of New York is willing to concede the existence of a Santa Claus. But I ask that Mr. Gailey produce authoritative evidence that Mr. Kringle is the one and only Santa Claus.
Your point is well taken, Mr. Mara. Mr. Gailey, are you ready to show that that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus on the basis of competent authority?
Not at this time, Your Honor. I ask for an adjournment until this time tomorrow.
This court stands adjourned till 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
That's all ready. What are you doing?
Riding to Mr. Kringle to tell him I believe in everything he told me. Everything will turn out fine.
That's nice. He'll like that.
Where shall I send it?
Why don't you send it to the county courthouse?
Okay. What did you write, Mother?
I believe in you, too, Doris. Go take your bath now. Could you give me the number of the main post office, please?
Hello, dead letter office. Are you kidding? We got maybe a couple 100,000. Yes, ma'am, we sure would. Hey, lady, that's not a bad idea. Thank you.
Chris, I've got bad news for you. I've tried every way to get some competent authority. I wired the mayor, the governor, everybody.
Susan. And means more to me than all the mayors and governors in the world.
It's all over. He hasn't got a thing. Your Honor, the defense has yet to produce one bit of authoritative proof that this man is really Santa Claus. And in view of the fact that it is Christmas Eve and we're all anxious to get to our homes, I ask that these commitment papers be signed without further delay.
Mr. Gailey, have you anything further to offer?
I should like to submit the following evidence, Your Honor. It concerns an official agency of the United States government. The Post Office Department, one of the world's largest business concerns, did a gross business last year of $1,112,877,174.
Your Honor, I'm sure they're all deeply gratified to know that the Post Office Department is doing nicely, but it hardly has any bearing on this case.
Furthermore, the U.S. postal laws make it a criminal offense to willfully misdirect mail or intentionally deliver it to the wrong party.
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm sure that the state of New York is willing to admit that the Post Office Department is authoritative, prosperous, and efficient.
For the record?
For the record. Anything to get on with this case.
Then, Your Honor, I offer these letters in evidence. They're simply addressed to Santa Claus, yet they were each delivered to Mr. Kringle by bona fide employees of the Post Office Department. I offer these as authoritative proof.
Your Honor, 3 letters are hardly authoritative proof.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Oh, I'm sure we'd all be glad to see them.
Oh, yes, indeed. Put them on my desk.
On your desk?
Yes, yes.
Very well, Your Honor. Every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus, and the post office has delivered them to my client. Therefore, the United States government recognizes this man, Kris Kringle, as Santa Claus.
If the United States of America believes this man is Santa Claus, then this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed. Thank you, Your Honor, and a Merry Christmas to you. And a Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Kringle. Oh, I got your note. It made me very happy.
Oh, I'm glad, Chris. Won't you come to dinner tonight?
I know. I'm working tonight. You see, it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas!
What's the matter with Susan?
I think she misses Chris.
Don't worry, young lady. Chris is bound to come.
Didn't get my present, Uncle Fred.
Why, darling, you got a lot of presents.
Not the one I wanted. Not the one Mr. Kringle was going to get for me.
What was that?
It doesn't matter. I didn't get it. I knew it wouldn't be here, but could I get a letter or something about it? Hello?
Hello, Susan. Merry Christmas. Well, it wasn't really a promise. I said I'd do my best.
You couldn't get it because you're not Santa Claus, that's why. You're just a nice man with white whiskers like my mother says. And I shouldn't have believed you.
Susan. Merry Christmas, Chris.
I'm sorry Susan is disappointed in me.
Oh, she'll be all right. Here's Fred.
Merry Christmas. Where are you? Out at the home. Fred, we're giving a little party this afternoon. Will you bring Mrs. Walker and Susan out to help us celebrate?
Of course I will.
Now, you turn off the parkway at Seymour. Drive 3 blocks, then turn onto Ashley Drive. You'll see it on the right.
Got it.
Bye.
Susan, I was wrong when I told you not to believe in Mr. Kringle. You must have faith in him.
But he didn't get me that. That doesn't make sense, Mother.
Oh, faith is believing in things even when common sense tells you not to. I mean, even though things don't work out the way you want them to the first time, you still gotta believe in people.
I'll try.
There it is, Ashley Drive.
I do believe. I do believe. I do. Stop, Uncle Fred, stop!
Susan! Susan! Susan, you shouldn't be running around in other people's houses.
But this is my house, Mommy. The one I asked Mr. Kringle
Now,
for.
Susan, darling.
It is. I know it is. Oh, you're right, Mommy. If things don't turn out right the first time, you've still got to believe. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus. He is. I'm going to see my swings.
You told her that? The house seems to be for sale. We can't let it down.
Oh, Fred. Darling, I always believed in you. It's just my ridiculous common sense.
Well, it even makes sense to believe in me now. I take a little old man and legally prove that he's Santa Claus. Now, you know. Oh, no.
Wait, it must have been left by one of the tenants.
Maybe. Maybe I didn't do such a remarkable thing after all.